Afolayan. Welcome, Afolayan. He's a Microsoft certified trainer and he will be taking this session today. So, everyone, uh, be ready for this session. Afolayan, if you can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
So, okay, thank you so much. Can I go ahead? Yeah, I can see you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, guys. So good morning, everyone from Nigeria. If you have
Good
anyone from
morning,
if you have anyone
Afolayan,
joining from
and
Nigeria, good morning. Then across the part of the world. So I'm gonna say good morning from Nigeria once again. So whatever time you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all of you. Yes, and I want to say thank you so much for the organizer for this particular event. I know we have been moving this event for a very long period now. But I just have to make today possible by all means to ensure that I actually attend this event. So, if you are part of this event, the first thing I'm going to say right now is, please, you count yourself lucky to be part of here, and also those that organize this event, they have done a very great job for me to be part of them right now because I remember one of the organizers the way he follows up, give me a call, middle of the night. So just count yourself lucky, and whatsoever you can grab from this particular meeting, ensure you take whatsoever you want to take. And if you have questions, you can drop it in the chat. You can call my attention to that because I love audience in my class. And so we can make it interactive and we can make it fun. So at the end of the day, we can have a memory of what the particular day of the day is anyway. So if you can all hear me, let me know. Just signify by chat or if you can hear me, and if you cannot hear me, just drop your chat. So let me know where to start from. So can we all hear me from the class? Am I audible enough? Okay, 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 okay. So let's see, okay, yes. Keep popping up. Let's see others because of network might likely have some delay. So no issue. All right. So that's great. So let's just give 1 minute more. Level 21, then we'll kick off the class. So I can proceed by sharing my screen anyway. Because this particular class is just for basic and also uh actually meant for our progress. It's not actually moving from on-prem to cloud. And what does the cloud actually entails? How can we go about it? What we need to know, what we need to do, then we process from there. So if you can see hear me, so now this is level 21, then we can kick off with the slide I have. So if my screen is visible enough, you can just let me know. I love that. Okay, right. So if you can see my screen, just let me know. And I have more slides, then I can actually share that with everyone in the class. Or I share with the organizer, then you can actually share that with everybody in the class anyway. So that is all. So can we all see my screen? If yes, somebody can just say yes. Can we all see my screen? Yeah. Okay. Right. So the first question today is this. We all know how virtual machine works. Some of us might actually read one or two things about how class work, how virtual machine works, how Azure, what is Azure, what is AWS, what is Google. So basically, I'm going to work on Azure, on the virtual machine on Azure, which is Microsoft. So so if you looked at this, if I'm going to ask every one of us, because we're so many in the class, so it's not be possible for me to throw out the question. So for the time and everything. So uh if you ask what is virtual machine, I think every one of us going to have one or two things to say about virtual machine, and everybody going to have a very concrete idea on how virtual machine works as well, how it's been operated, how it's been organized. So, but from Azure, from Microsoft side, we actually design what we call a virtual machine. It's one of what? One of the several type of on-demand, scalable computing resources that Azure offers. Choose a virtual machine where you need more control over the computer environment than the other choice offers. So what does that mean? A virtual machine is more like you have your on-prem environment, you have the on-prem computer. But now you come to Azure, you come to cloud, which is a virtual machine. On before that, we have three type of environment in cloud. We have three type of environment. We have IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. That might not be part of my note anyway. It's just coming from my head. So the first one is IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. The second one is PaaS, which is platform as a service. Then the third one is SaaS, which is software as a service. Yeah, we have another one now, which is DICE. So that one is still in preview. So we cannot talk about much about that because it's still in preview. That is DAS. So that is DASS. So now basically feature are mainly focused right now on IaaS, which is virtual machine that's embedded under IaaS. So now the virtual machine we're talking about right now is under IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. So now how does it work? This is one of the virtual resources you have that you could not see but exist. That's just the basic language you could have give that. So on Microsoft, we have what we call a virtual machine, which on right now is like a computing resources that everybody want to go, everybody want to make use of it right now. So that is how it works, and you can have control over those resources. Then we have some resources that actually Microsoft manage for you. Then we have some that you're going to manage by yourself. So that is how it works. So on that part, if you looked at it, the last part there is said what? Other than other people's choice. So everybody has his own choice on how it's going to work, design his environment. It's just like a building that, you decide how to build your own house. The same way it is, but everything's embedded on what? On land, on the materials you're going to buy. So it depends on the choice of the houses you want to build. So offers is like that. Microsoft will give offers so whatsoever you want, how you want it, how you want to design the environment. It doesn't concern us, but we're giving the offer of how your environment should work. So that's what we have right now. So any question that, if I'm too fast, please team, let me know. Please, if I'm too fast, let me know, because some people do say I do fast, please. So are we clear on that? Should we move on? Should we move on to the next slide? If yes, or if something needs to be cleared, so we can drop it in the chat. Okay, okay. Someone raise up his hand. So please, guys, can you go ahead, please? If you know you raise up your hand, can you go ahead, please? I'm available. Somebody's raised up his hand, so can you go on? If the person is talking, I can't hear you. Shall we proceed? Class, should we proceed? Okay. All right, all right, all right. So that's something I said we should go on. All right. So the next one is there. We have this. The next slide is what that I have here. What do I need or think about before creating a virtual machine? One, the name of the application that you want to do, location where you want your resources to be located or to be yes. Then the size of the virtual machine you want to run, the maximum number of virtual machines you need to be created, then the operating system the virtual machine is going to run, the configuration of the virtual machine after it starts, and the related resources that the virtual machine needs. So let me go straight to the application. What type of application do you want to run on your virtual machine? We have some Windows Server, we have Windows 10, we have Windows 11, we have what's it called, type of Windows servers we have 2008, 2008 R2, we have 2012, 2012 R2, we have data center, 2016, 2012 as well. We have 2019, we have 2022, which is the latest from Microsoft. So that is the type of OS we actually have. So right now, So it depends on the application you want to run. We have an SQL as well, which is a database resources. So it depends on what you actually wanted to achieve while by creating your virtual machine. Okay. So now we have a lot of regions that the Microsoft actually have for resources to be hosted. We have West US, a lot of region. Currently, we have one in South Africa. We have in Dubai, which is UAE. So it depends on the one you want. But there's some that you cannot create some of your resources, like what we call German. You have in China. So those two countries, they don't want their data to go out, so they don't have a data center there. The only data center they have, Microsoft have there, is governed by their government. So we don't have any visibility on that. So we cannot create resources in those regions. So, but other regions are open. So we're going to practice that in this class as well. So we're going to see how it works. So the type of size, when we're talking about size of virtual machine, we have series of sizes in virtual machine. We have from A series to N series to M series as well. So right now, Microsoft just launched another series of size. So we have series of them from A to M series right now. No, N series, yeah, N series to N series right now. So what's the maximum number of virtual machines that you can create? It depends on your subscription. You can create as much as you can, but the limit is one. The minimum you can create is one. And we have thousands you can create on a subscription. But the maximum you can create per subscription is 1,000. So you may from 1 to 1,000 per subscription. Okay, so then we have different type of subscription in Azure. We have what we call pay, which is pay as you go. Then we have what we call CSP, which is cloud supporting provider. Then we have enterprise agreement, which is EA. Those are the three common. Then we have a free trial that you can actually use. So those are the subscriptions you might have to be able to create your virtual machine in Azure or in cloud. So what type of operations that your virtual machine needs to be run? Is what I just mentioned earlier. Want to run on Windows with the 10, with the 11 servers, SQL. You want to run on Linux as well. So those are the things, those are the features, those are the operating system they runs on virtual machine. Then what is the configuration after it started? What type of configuration do you want? So it depends on the size you are choosing that you're going to see those the configuration you want. Like you bought your personal PC. Oh, I want 8 gig RAM, I want 12 gig RAM, I want 16 GB RAM, then I want like maybe 1 terabyte of hard drive. The same way you have it on your virtual machine. You have the minimum of 1.5 vCPU, then we have the minimum of 3.5 vCPU, then we have the maximum of 128 vCPU. It depends on what you want. Then we have terabytes of the hard drive. So it depends on what you want. The related resources that virtual machine needs. What are the related resources virtual machine needs? We have a lot of related virtual machine needs. It needs your network, it needs whatsoever you want to do. Just what connectivity you actually, it's very, very important when the related resources they are actually needs. So if you are missing any point, let me know out of those 5 or 6, 7 bullets we have. Let me know if there's any questions so I can quickly address that and we can move on this meeting. Any question? Any doubts? Any concern? Any question? Any doubt? I'm going to get some same PowerPoint that you are sharing. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to share that. Oh, yeah. That is a very great question. What you need to consider when you are trying to create your resources in any particular region. One, you have to create we have to check what we call latency, which is networking, which is the distance of your network. Okay. So like me now, I created one of my resources in Canada, etc. But sometimes I find out that when I'm working on Canada Central, I have what we call lagging. That lagging means there's a latency issue because of the distance. So I actually choose a very close region to us due to the network. Okay. Do you get that point? The person that asked me the question. So those are the things. Then you also consider what we call a downtime, a plant maintenance, an outage. What if we are creating a resources in what's it called? West US, and there's a downtime, but there's an outage on that, or there's a platform update. So definitely you have to consider a lot of things. Though all the regions have their own maintenance, but not at the same time. But sometimes people prefer East US, all this US, West Europe, and so on. Okay. What if all your regions are far? Is there any other solution for that? Yes, there's a solution for that. You have to choose a region that is very closer to you. That's why we have Microsoft Data Center across the globe. Which South Africa would be better since it's closer, or Europe? South Africa is better. Some that want South Africa is very better and also cheap as well than Europe. We have 2 data centers in South Africa, one's for redundancy, one's for our resources. So when you are doing that, you have to consider that too. So I want South Africa not, but I'm not very sure that you can create a South Africa not, because that's for redundant. So you can choose. Most people choose Europe. So from Africa region, we choose Europe mostly because it's very closer to us. Okay. So does that clear those questions? Should we move on? Any doubt? Any other further questions? So we can move on from there. So the person that asked for the slide, yes, I'm going to share the slide with the organizer, and I'm going to add more slide to that, so we all can have enjoy the slide. Okay, there's no issue about that. I just have to prepare this for just this meeting. I have more of that I'm going to share. That's more comprehensive for that. So another question? Should we move on? Am I clear enough? Any doubts? Does loading shared? Does loading shedding ever affects region? Yeah, it affects region, because there are some regions that you might likely want to create your resources. They might tell you, oh, you'll not be able to create here because there are some region markets of actually reserved for some of their big customers. Okay, there are some sizes that you cannot even use because of the type of operation being run as well. We have a test, then we have what we call a production. So there are some that you cannot. Okay, yeah, it's going to affect. It's going to affect you. Okay, it's going to affect you because when the region is too crowded, just as if you have a house, just a one bedroom apartment, you have like 50 people inside. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, overcharging is power outage. I cannot agree on that. It cannot, but it just going to limit the available resources on that particular region. And it's going to be capped on that on suspicion you actually have. Okay, there's some suspicion that will tell you cannot create resources in this region because that region might actually be reserved for some customer that actually request for it. There are some regions that actually be on request anyway. So is that clear, Mr. Simon? Should we move on? Okay, should we move on? If yes, that's good. We can move on from there. So now, move to slide 4. What type of virtual machine? Like I mentioned earlier, type of virtual machine sizes that is available in Azure. You can see the type. We have computing, we have memory optimization, then we have storage, then we have CPU. This CPU, those are deal with graphics. You know what I mean? So you're going to pick your part from there. Storage, the people that actually deal with SQL database, you're going to pick your part. Then the memory of utilization also, those are run application. So you're going to pick your part. Then the compute, those are used work on server. So you're going to pick your part as well. So I'm going to share this slide. No issue about that. So any question on this? I think I'm covering all this slide as well. Any question? Should we move to the next slide? All right, let's move to this. So like I said, what's the difference between standard and what? And basic virtual machine in Azure? We have basic, we have standard. So I've shared that. I've already segmented that right now. So if you look at the basic, it's optimized for deployment and test. They're just like the standard tier, but not supported load balancer or to scale in IOPS is slower as compared to the standard. So like I said, we have test environment and we have production environment. So which means if you're going for test, you're going to use for basic, and the substances that are actually available for that. Then if you're going for production, then you actually go for standard because of what? Because of the performance. Yeah, the basic is going to give you some performance as well. It depends on what you're doing on that. Okay, but the standard is going to give you more. It depends on what you are doing as well. You can't expect somebody that's running a website or a database to be using basic, you're not going to get what you want. It's going to be frustrating you because you are not using for tests. Test means you carry out your test environment, you actually find out how it works, then you implement it on your production. Exactly. Exactly. Should we move on? Should we move on? All right. So if you want to move on, so now types of OS in virtual machine. Like I said earlier, we have Windows and we have Linux. Under Windows, we started from Windows. Those of us that are familiar with Windows operating system very well, we have a lot of Windows. Started from when I started my IT experience. I started from Windows 98. That's where I started from, which was when Windows was in DOS environment. That's where I started my IT experience. From Windows 98, we moved straight to Windows 2000. From Windows 2000, we moved straight to Windows Me. From Windows Me, we moved straight to Windows SP. So from Windows SP, we move straight to Windows Vista. And from Vista, we move straight to Windows 7, move straight to Windows 8, then we move straight to Windows 10, then we move straight to Windows, which is the latest one, which is Windows 11. So sorry guys, I think most of us have already used all these Windows. But I'm very sure few of us will actually work on Windows 98. Because it was a dumb, basically blast screen. So if you don't understand some of the command, you know where to be found. Just like Linux environment. I think that's actually they upgraded to Linux anyway. Though Linux has been existing for a very long period. But that's how it works. So in virtual machine, that's under Windows. Then under Linux, we have what we call Red Hat, we have Ubuntu, we have Debian, we have a lot under that as well. But when you come to cloud, when you come to Azure, when you come to Microsoft, they have their sizes as well. Not that, okay, let me just go for this side, let me go for this. By OLED size in Azure, by default, for Windows, is 127 GB. By default, even though you are using test environment, you are using standard. By design, is 127 GB. By default. Scalability, yes. You can upgrade as many as terabytes you want. But I think the maximum there is 1 terabyte for the OS or 5 terabytes either. But you cannot reduce the OS. No. Let me assume, okay, you create 127. You now find out that, oh, I'm not even using much of this space. Why can't I make it maybe 10 GB? It's not going to work. You cannot reduce it. But you can scale up. That is where money comes in. Okay? So, but for Linux, by default, it's 30 GB. There's scalability, yes, but you cannot downgrade as well. Okay? So let me see, any question pending, anything, any doubt? Any doubt? Oh, thank you so much. That is input, output, operation per second. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it actually IOPS means performance of your operating system that actually working. You are working on the particular size. It's for performance only. So whatsoever you are doing, you consider IOPS as one of your priorities. So any question, any doubts? Should we move on? Should we move on? You see how more hours, we just started doing. Just started. I will still take you guys far. Any question? Any doubt? Any question? Any doubt? Are we missing anything? If you are missing anything, let me know. I can easily go back for benefit of entire class. And that's what I do. That's my work. So don't worry, after the class, I'm going to introduce myself properly. Okay, don't, you guys should not worry. I'm going to introduce myself properly so you guys can meet me very well. Any question? Should we move on? Okay. Thank you, guys. All right, so we have this. What are the 4 ways that we can create a virtual machine? We can create importer. You can use Azure CLI. You can use Azure ARM templates. You can use Azure PowerShell. Those are the 4 ways you can create. Now, you want to use Portal. Portal means just like a GUI. CLI means like you are inputting some commands. The templates, like you already prepare it, you just run like a REST API. And what does it PowerShell? PowerShell is like you are using a Microsoft command to actually deploy this. All are all controlled by Microsoft. None of them. You can use your deployment. For those of us that actually go into DevOps, you can use a Terraform. I just want to include that. You can use a Terraform to do that. You have a lot of tools you can actually do this. You can use a DevOps environment to actually implement some virtual studio, to create some virtual machine, to deploy some virtual machine. Any doubt? Any issue? Should we move on? Should we move on? Okay, which of the slide, please? This or this? Let's start from here. I think we have explained this. So somebody explain that one. Input, output, performance, what? Per seconds. And this size of what? Type of OS. We have Windows, Linux, by in Azure 127, by Windows, Linux by 30 GB. Then you can scale up, but you cannot downgrade. Then the last slide is this: how to create a virtual machine. So any doubt? Oh, what type of vehicle should you proceed? Okay, I can be created by Terraform. Fine. I think we might likely go into DevOps then. We likely need to go to DevOps. But the time will not permit us. Let me just tell you. Not permit us. So let's just work with the one we have right now. So you can sync, or you can sync with the organizer after the meeting. It's going to make arrangement for that as well. Okay. So any question, any doubts? Are you? I'm fine. So can we proceed? Can we proceed? All right. So let me just go straight. Let me share my screen. How it works. Okay, just a moment. Let me just proceed. Let me share my screen. How it works. So the URL is what? It's portal.azure.com. So use this. Right. So now go to create resources. So when you're creating resources, please, we have a lot of things we have to consider. What type of resources you want to create? What is the purpose of you creating these resources? Okay. So we'll go straight to compute, like I mentioned earlier. You see the compute that we have, see data center, is type of operations that we have. So it depends on the one you actually need. So you can see those ones. So we'll just move straight to overview. So I'll move straight to overview. So the first thing you have to, we have what we call marketplace. So on this marketplace, all services, all resources, so that it's going to show you everything. So these are all resources I have under the suspicion, but you must have a suspicion, like I mentioned. You have what we call all services as well. So you can see them. So on this, you can create your virtual machine. You can select a compute. If you want to create container, you can do that. So whatever you want to create. So we have a lot of them anyway. So one, we want to create a virtual machine. So on virtual machine, you click on create. So we create a virtual machine. So this is it. All right. So these are the steps on how to create a virtual machine. So the first thing, you must have a suspicion. You select your suspicion you are using. Okay. So next thing, you create what? Okay, let me just select my own suspicion so it will be easy for me. Just a moment. Yeah, for the question, does the sufficient limit the resources you can have access to? No. So now let me select the available suspicion I have. Just select any suspicion that I have. Okay, let me use this. So the first thing you have to do is what? You create a resource group. So let's call, so someone should just give us a name. I'm going to call this resource group. Somebody give us a name to name the resource group. Yes, there's a way you can do that for not paying monthly fees. That's what we call pay as you go. So if you do pay as you go, if you do pay as you go, so it means you're going to attach your credit card to that particular subscription. So the more resources you have, the less, the more you charge, the more you're charging. So if you have how am I going to put that now in the best way for you guys to understand? Because if you're using pay as you go, pay as you go means the more resources you create, the more your charges. So let's assume you create a one virtual machine, and if you go to pricing calculator, you already know how much you are going to be paying on that particular resources you created. If that particular resources is not used, for you to have the virtual machine on Azure, whether it is in use or not, there's going to be a particular charge, but it's going to limit the charges to when the resources is actually running on Azure. Okay, is that clear? So now, so which of the name? All right, so let's move on from there. So let's just give it a resource group, create a resource group. We call it what? Let's just call it today's class. Let's call it today's class. Right. So we'll move on. So that one is created. So now, what name? Today's class. Let's say today's class as well. Okay. So like I mentioned earlier, we have different regions. So these are the regions we have that my subscription was actually I can deploy resources on this region. Somebody that was asking for South Africa the other time. You can have the South Africa here right now. We have this. So yeah. So now, so this is it. So which region should we use? Which region should we use? Let's see if I have any idea. Okay. Yeah, the question is if you can demonstrate how to create a virtual machine using templates or PowerShell. Yeah, we can do that, but I don't think the time is going to permit us. But I'm going to give you a slide that actually contains those steps, how to do that. Or let me quickly share. I'm going to share a link for that as well. All right. So this must say West Europe, West Europe. Let me face to West Europe. Yeah, we select West Europe. So on this, if you look at the left blade, we have what we call availability options. We have zone. We have no infrastructure. We have virtual machine scale set. We have availability set as well. So most times, what we do, we use no structure because if you select zone, there are some of your resources that you might not be able to deploy in zones, or your solution actually cannot deploy some resources in also in zone as well, or the region you want to deploy that particular resources. So we choose by default, which is no infrastructure redundancy required. Then the security type. These are the new features we just launched. So on this, a moment please. All right. So now we move straight. If you want to select the standard, you can select the trusted launch. We have that. Then we move on from there. So it depends on where anyone you want or any option you want to select. So now, if you select the standard, fine. So what type of OS? You can see the monthly charge for what we are trying to create now is $180 per month. So what type of image do we have or do you want to create? So we'll drop this image down, drop this image down. We have Windows 7 servers, Gen 1, Gen 2. We have Ubuntu, we have CentOS, we have SUSE, we have Red Hat, we have Oracle Linux, we have Debian. So most people actually use Windows Server 2016, Gen 2. You can use that. It's still the same purpose. It's going to serve, but mostly actually serve for what? Most people want to work on server. So some use Windows or normal Windows 7, Windows 8. Those ones are already depreciated right now in Microsoft. So we have Windows 10 above right now. So now select this Gen 2. So now you can see there's an error. So the error pop up and what? If you satisfy, if you actually review and it passed through there, satisfied that okay, this resource can be created under this subscription, then it moves. If you looked at it very well, you can see the price has changed. If you looked at it very well, the price has what? Has changed. So, and if you look at the left blade as well, you see some of these features, some are under asterisk or red asterisk. Those are the important ones that you can't do without them. You have to input something there. So you cannot just override. Like this virtual machine architecture, there's nothing, it doesn't really mean anything. You can override that. You can see that C4 is already graded out. So the one that is by default is what? S4. As long as you are using Gen 2. As you are using Gen 1 now, you're going to see what we call what? S32 as well there. So let me see if there's any question pending before we move on. Okay. So now, when it comes to sizes, we have different sizes. Let me select, see all sizes that is available. So like I mentioned earlier, you can see all the sizes that are available. And the CPU, the RAM, the total size of hard drive they supported. Somebody that was asking for IOPS at that time. Somebody that's worked out what the temporary storage. We have what premium supported. and the monthly cost as well. So depends on the one we're choosing. So like I said, there are some sizes that is not meant for production. There are some sizes that are actually made for testing environment. But since we are running a test environment, I'm going to share the link for that as well. But since we are running a virtual, you are running a test environment, most time I use this. If you select this, you can see the numbers of VCPU you have, which is 2. About the one that has one VCPU, 1 RAM, then it supports only 2 data drive. But what we are going to consider there, because that's what I mentioned earlier, when we started this meeting, we consider what we call performance. It's very, very key and depends on what the workload you want to have on that resources. So should we proceed? So test, what I mean by test and production environment. Test means you can select a very minimum size at a point to actually carry out all your test application, your test server, whatever you want to do. You can carry that on that test environment. Check if everything is working as expected. You just have at the back of your mind, you might not actually have a better performance on that. So for you to have a better performance, you need when you are moving these resources down to the production environment, you want to have a better performance, then you have to optimize or you have to upgrade the size of that particular virtual machine. That's what they mean by test, okay? Is that clear? Is that clear? Should we move on? Okay. No, yeah, no, the production environment might not be another server. You can actually upgrade the size of that particular virtual machine to production size. So you have what you have. Okay? All right. All right, should we move on? All right, so now let's go back to where we're creating these resources. So let me just select one size that at least is going to give us a good performance that we're trying to connect. So we'll select this. So it's going to ask us for a username. So what's the username we're going to have now? But remember, when I put on that username, if you look at the int on that username, look at it very well. It does not support what? Any special what? Characters. So have that one at the back of your mind. And the virtual machine must be what? The one and in between what? To 20 characters. If you exceeded that 20 characters, sorry. So is there any question pending there? Yeah, I can see. So which of the explanation do you got? Which of the explanation do you miss? So which of the explanation do you miss, please? All right, no issues. So if you looked at this, once I move into my username, it's going to see that it's going to give us a lot of options there. That all these options now, it doesn't support special characters. And the name must not be more than what? 1 to 20. So which name? Let's just give it today Azure. Right. So you can see, today we do that, you can see all check on green. So if I remove this now, or if I didn't put anything now, you're going to see it's going to point out that, okay, the username and the character is not yet. So today Azure. Right. So if I put any character now, let me do this. Let me do this. It's not going to pass it. You see the first option there now? So if I put anything like this, it's not going to pass it. Because it doesn't support what? Special characters as well. So you have to be very, very cautious of that. You can see the character that you actually supported. So if you put art now, let me do art. No. Let me do a secret to this. No. with the plus, no. So we remove this. If you use dollar sign, it actually means that okay, fine, it's save as well. It's not part of special characters. So if you use this, we will say no. So now we moved on. So now you can see immediately we select the size, the price, or the cost. Monthly charges reduced as well. So let's select another size. Let me select a higher size. Zoom on that this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Do you see the price now change? So we have to be conscious of that as well. So for those of us that want to start our own basic environment, you have to be conscious about the size. Okay. So we moved on. Click on that. So you continue filling the template. So inquire password. So on that password level, so we will have today today's class, okay, today's class. But when you are creating your password, you all know what the password entails. It's going to contain what? It's going to contain what? Have a very strong password, please. Let's do that. So who can tell me what the strong password need to entail, please? You cannot be the chat, no issue. Then we can proceed. Okay. So let's just do this. So I'm going to copy this now, just for the class, because for Thursday we can go ahead and delete it. So this, all right. So this, right. So you can see on this part now, was asking public what? Inbound port. None. It means this part mainly for security purpose. Then if you said allow all selected ports, we have it at the back of your mind. If you are using Windows OS, by default, the remote desktop protocol that is supported by default is 3389 by default. But if you are using Linux OS, whatsoever Linux OS you are using, Debian OS, the default port to SSH to it is port 22. You can decide for security reason to change this port. Once you are typing this port, changing from default, it means you are using what we call custom port. The custom port means your own personal port that you want to be using what? To add it to your virtual machine at your own environment or in your own environment. It's not applicable by default anymore. So this is your own now. We call it what? Custom port. I think we have a question waiting. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. So now, move straight to this. So now we want to make it open. Since it's a test environment, it's not in production. Like I said, somebody asked a question, what's between the test and our production the other time? This is where some basic step actually comes in. In your test environment, you can make the port open just to configure whatever you want to configure to see the performance of the environment. And when you're moving to production, then it comes, you have to what? Consider what we call security. Then start what? Configure your security process. You understand now? By doing a custom port, change your NS0, minimize the numbers of IP address that can connect to it, or you do a subnet, okay, within the range of this IP address that can have access to this virtual machine. You've got something outback row, which is row basic access control, base asset control, the numbers of users that can actually connect to this virtual machine. So by default, yeah, that even reminds me, if you after creating this virtual machine, the numbers of concurrent that can have DB to this virtual machine is just 2. It's just only 2 users by default. By default. But at a point, you can have multiple users that want to have access to this virtual machine. You can have 1,000 users that want to have access to one virtual machine. That's what we call what? We introduce what we call RDF. That's what we call remote desktop what? License as well. Once you put the RDL, once you put that one into play, then it means you have numbers of users that want to connect. Then you're going to purchase the numbers of users that are going to do that. But by default, it's just 2 that's going to have access to it. Okay. So let's make it open. Yeah, 339. You can see SSH. You can see port HTTP, HTTPS. So now we use RDP, which is 339. Then we'll move straight. Yeah. If you look at the licenses there, this one is just to save your cost. Let's assume you have purchased some license from on-prem, you are moving your resource to Azure. You can save your cost by using the license you have already purchased. Yes, I have a hybrid license, and you take this, it's going to save your cost as well. Okay, that's going to confirm that whatever you want to do. Though I don't have that because I'm using Microsoft subscription. So we move straight to what we call disk. So on this part now, like I mentioned, you see now, image default is one what? 127. You can go as late as you want. From 127 upward. Depends on how you want it. Depends on how you have your money. Nobody's going to stop you for that. Then before we go to that part, if you looked at this part I highlighted, HTML, VM, this encryption. These are the new features we actually Microsoft actually introduced due to the security reason or security purpose. Let me use that. We call it what? Encryption at rest. Okay. Encryption at what? At rest. It's different from your own personal encryption you are doing at your own environment. You are doing your keywords, you are doing your BitLocker, whatever you want to do. You are using what's it called? SMK. Then you are doing your whatever you want to do your own environment. So, but by default, Azure has their own, which is what we call encryption at what? At rest. So we move straight. So when we come to the OSD type, we have 3 types. We have SSD, we have HDD, then we have premium and standard for these 2. Premium SSD, premium SSD, and standard SSD, premium SSD. Then we have one for HDD, which is only standard HDD. We don't have premium HDD. That is the 3 types we have. We don't have what? Premium HDD. So when you're working on this, so for sake of cost, I always go for this HDD. Okay, so you can see he was talking about premium SSD here. If you look at it very well, it said what? Best for what? Production and performance sensitive what? Workload. So it means if you're using this particular size or this particular OS type, it's suitable for your environment, especially when you're working on database. You got that? So that is how it works. Okay, some questions pending. So let's see, some questions pending. Right. We'll finish anywhere from now. Let me just, once we create the virtual machine, we'll add it to it, then might likely call it a day. Then we might open room for questions and answer anyway. Okay. All right, so we move on. So we'll select this just for test environment. Then you can see the other one was not what? Asterisk. So we move on. Move on to the one that has asterisk. If you want to have your what else have more data drive to it, you can actually create that. Then you can create this, then you have the template to create that. So we're not creating that, so we move on to where we are. So on this advanced, you can see more features on that, and the advanced. Well, automatically is managed disk. On before now, Microsoft introduced, we have what we call unmanaged disk before. That one means, that resources means you are the one controlling your own environment. But right now, the unmanaged disk have been completely I would like grayed out. So we're no more using it. Every resource you create in Azure now is what is managed. Okay, is what is managed. So now move straight to what we call networking. So on this networking, we have a VNet. Let's assume you already have created your own VNet. You are creating a new virtual machine, you want it to be in the same VNet. You can select it there. If I drop it down, you can see some VNet that is available for me to select. That is the same region, but it must be in the same region. Located that resources. But by default, Microsoft is going to generate default for you. Okay. So now you can see the default subnet, the default IP is going to be created. Then if we move straight to what? NIC. NIC means what? Network interface card. You can make it basic. If you make it basic, it means all the configuration just by default, everything's going to be what? By default. But if you are making it advanced, you are the one configuring by yourself. So it's going to show you, oh, what type of energy do you want? Do you want to create your own personal energy? It's going to show you that template now. Oh, fine. So add your own inbound rules, add whatever you want to add. Okay, that's how that one works. So now, but by this is default now. If you click on this, it's going to show you by what? Default. So we'll move straight. You can see now on this path, it said base public IP none. So you move on source IP any. If you said this is where I was talking about the other time. You specify. I'm going to ask you which of the IP address you want to be connecting with. What is the range that can have access to this? That's where security comes into play. So you moved on. You moved on to this. Load balancer none, because we are not using it for any production, nothing. We're not having any network, any backend network we want to add to it. So just move it to what? None. So move it to next to management. So this management, this is where it boils down to what we call, if you have Active Directory that you want to be using to connect to your virtual machine, those people that want to be using what AD, that have AD on-prem, that already sync with Azure using VPN, that want to, okay, we want our on-prem environment to be linking with our Azure. So this is where the management comes into play. So, and if you want to have auto shutdown at so particular time, I want this virtual machine to go off, you can tick it. You want a backup, you want a site recovery, guest OS updates, you can enable those features. You can enable those features. All these features are free. Okay, you need part 2. I need a part 2. Okay, so now you move into monitoring. So that monitoring. So when you see the monitoring, if you configure your alert, it means if anything happens on your environment, if anything happens to the virtual machine, it's going to create an alert, it's going to generate an alert to you. Let's assume there's a recommendation, it's going to show you, you have a pop-up mask, it's going to show you, there's an outage, it's going to show you. If anything happens on that virtual machine, it's going to trigger an alert to you by default. So the diagnostics means you want to see the state of the virtual machine anytime it's running, whether it's shutting down or whether you just start the virtual machine. Yeah, the virtual machine is completely booted. You want to see the environment. That's where you can enable all this as well. All these features is at your own discretion anyway. You can actually create this also after the virtual machine has been created. It's not more that you can create it on the go as we're creating now. Okay, so we'll move straight to advanced. These are extensions. For some of us that use plugin, for us that use some application that use plugin, oh, this is where it comes to play. You can add the extension to that. Then we'll move straight to what we call tag. Tag means how you want to control your costs. I have 5 users. I have 5 people working on one subscription. So if I'm creating one now, I'll put a tag. I'm going to create these resources. So when the bills come at the end of the month, let's assume they bill us $93 now. So we're going to share it. How many of your own? Let me check your own resources. So we created resources and it costs you $10. Your $10 contribute to it. It's not that you pay separately, you pay together. So just to control the bills, you can see that tag are the names of value pair that enable us to categorize resources and view position billing applied to the same tag. The monthly resources under the same resources and resource group. Note that if you create tag and then change resources setting on the other tag, your tag will be what? Automatically what? Updated. So simple. But we don't really need that. We just move to straight. So it's going to check and validate. It's running the validation. I know some of us have passed this stage. I know very well. But for those of us that have not passed this stage, this is one of the examples as well. So now You click on what? Create. If you are not sure of what you're trying to do, or you find out that you missed something, these are the summary of the entire details you have inputted on the when you are trying to create these resources. Okay. So you looked at it. Is anything missing? If anything missing, you have option to click what? Previous. Then you go back to that particular page to what? To correct whatsoever error is. Then you click on what? You click on create. So once you created, you see environment. You go to what? Then you initialize. So submitting, and you click here, you see whatsoever you are doing here. So deployment in what? In progress. So once you finish, you see all the, so let me drop down the deployment details. The way it's creating now, you'll be seeing it one after the other. So it's still creating. So once it's created, you can see the one that has been created, they have showed it. The first thing that always ready that people doesn't usually pay attention to when you're creating your virtual machine, the first thing that always ready when you're creating your resources is the network. Is the network. Once the machine is not yet ready, you can see it's still creating. But when you pick the network now, it's going to ready. For those of us that want to clear the doubt, I have this. Show us the IP address. Let's see. Yeah, show us the IP address. Someone that want to ping, they can ping it and confirm if it's ready. It's going to reply you. But the virtual machine that hosted these resources is not ready. You can still not able to log in to it. Meanwhile, this is Windows. Okay. But when you're creating for Linux, like I mentioned, just the same way, but the OS is going to be different and the size is going to be different. That's all the two things about them. The OS is going to be different and the size is going to be different. Okay. All right. All right. Let's move straight to what we have here. Okay. Now it is complete. You can see virtual machine is ready. All we need is ready. So let's just go straight to the resources. So go straight to the resources. So this is the resources is running. Well, meanwhile, if you remember the other time, we didn't create a what? A boot diagnosis to see the virtual machine actually ready for remote connection. You click it, it's not going to give you any information there. You can see. That's going to show you how the virtual machine is what? It's booting. So it's not ready yet. When it's ready, you're going to see the whole information here. Yeah, the virtual machine is what? Is ready to be used. So we'll move straight. How do we connect to this? Your virtual machine must have a remote desktop, or you download the remote desktop from Azure. You can see we have three ways of connecting to this virtual machine. So that you use your Connect RDP, use a Bastion, use a window admin center. But the common one we use right now is what is Connect. Once you click on Connect, it's going to tell you to download the RDP certificate. Then you download it, and you have access to your what? To your virtual machine. So it's still one. So for security reasons, you can see what we call just-in-time policy. Just-in-time policy is also for security, like I mentioned. Somebody is going to be having access to this just-in-time. If anybody want to connect to this, it's going to give permission to that person. It's going to send a word, an alert, just like you are sending a token or you are sending an OTP. Let's go to, oh, somebody want to configure, somebody want to log into this virtual machine. Who could that be? Oh, this particular user. Okay, I know him. You can't access. But if the person deny your access, you'll not be able to have access to this virtual machine. That is the work of what? Just-in-time policy, just to control the accessibility of this virtual machine and for security reasons, like I mentioned. So you see this. So now you download the IDP. All these features are just new anyway. So it's going to show you, yeah, keep. So once you finish, then you open it. Yeah, so it's going to tell you this. You have two ways of connecting. It's giving me this. You go to more choices. Because it's speaking my domain, use different account. So where's the username? Username of what we used the other time. What? Today, right? Yeah. So then you move from there, put the password we use. Sorry guys, if I didn't mention the password to you. So you see that giving error. Actually, I've forgotten the password because I have a lot of things on my head. But there's an option for us to change the password anyway. You see. Let me see if I can forgotten the password. If I have, you guys, I need to reset it. Okay. We'll still initialize. So now, let me see the reason. Sometimes the subscription I'm using was under restriction anyway. So I may have difficulty of logging into that virtual machine, which I'm very sure when I was doing it, I knew that thing is going to happen. But I just want to see if I can override it. You can see by default, it has been removed. So let me just quickly create. Just create this port, any destination port. Do this, any. I'm not using custom port. Any using custom port. I'm using open port. Yes, allow. That's for security reasons anyway. So let me just quickly do that though, so I can get it off and delete it after creating. So let's see. So those are the things you have to check when you're unable to add it to a virtual machine. That port is actually open. Yeah. So now it's open. So let's see. Let's connect again. Let's connect again. Might not be downloading this, but can easily go back to the previous one you have anyway. So let's just get this open file. This still boils down to the security anyway. And it's not going to allow me to connect to this virtual machine. I'm actually using official subscription anyway. I know. My check now, there must be a policy that actually have deleted. This time I have actually been deleted again. Okay, so let us see this. Let me see this. So the IP address we have is this. Okay, sorry. So the IP address is what? Is this. IP address is this. You can add this if you want. Yeah. So this we come down to more choices. We come down to day. This class. Yeah. This is not going to allow me to log in. That's one of the challenges I have. I use my personal subscription anyway. Yeah, so no issue about that. So let's go straight to this. It's giving us difficulties. The first thing you have to check the overview. That's what we call agent. If the agent is running fine, yeah, if everything is running fine, check under the virtual machine. You can see agent is running, everything is running. So it can give you accessibility to be able to reset your password. So let's just quickly reset the password. Let's see where we allow us. Let's use this. Okay, today's class. Okay, I think that's the name we use anyway. Let's just use this name. Let's copy this. All right. Okay, let me just update it. Let's see. Okay, so while waiting for that to be completed, yeah, you can use Basting. You have to configure the Basting. If you want to use Basting to have access to your virtual machine. So what do is, let me see if this has been completed. So you can come down to your Basting and you start your configuration from Basting. So Basting, you know, from your mind or from the expectation, Basting is used for URL. Okay, this one doesn't go through. Okay. Let me move this. Still have access. Aha. This one works. So now, yeah. All right. So you can see now, can have access to the virtual machine now. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the virtual machine right now. As you can all see. But remember, this virtual machine we created is server 2016. You can check the details normal way we should check out details about virtual machine environment, you know. So we can come here, come to this folder, come to this file explorer, put the file explorer, you see a server manager, see whatever you want to do there. So now we have this, just drop this down to the properties. Those of us that want to have access to check what type of OS is running. So we can see that. You can see that the server one is activated. As running on what? Data center 2 and what? 16. So whatever information you are seeing here now is more or less like information you are seeing on the portal as well. So if you go to this PC, you're going to see this. If you go to this PC, 127 is what you're going to see. You see that? So this is temporary drive it has. It has this drive, view what? DVD drive. But meanwhile, something recently happened, most especially people that want to manage costs. They saw temporary drive or temporary storage drive, almost 15 GB. Oh, it's free. Let me be saving my document. Let me be saving my files there. I think we all know what we call temporary storage. When the virtual machine shut down or auto restart or whatsoever you do on it, every information here, what goes. You now see some people start coming back to you. Oh, I will not agree. This thing has been done this one. This one has been done this one. No. So let's look into that very, very well. Okay. So that's what we can look into that as well. So the main one is what? One what? 127 that we created. Some of them might say 115, which is free. As you know, where it's going to take its own part. So you see how it works. So any question? Let me minimize this first, and we'll come back to this. So any question? Any question? Any doubt? So now from here, you can see a server manager, those of us that work with IIS. You can add your role, you can enable your Hyper-V, but you cannot enable Hyper-V. There are some sites that actually doesn't enable, you cannot enable Hyper-V on them. So it doesn't support that, but you can easily work on your server manager. Some of us I work with ISO, like I said, so close this. So you come down to your tools, see your eyes there, whatever you want to do, manage. So you can add a role instead of it coming to this UI. So now, any question, any doubt, any issues? Any question, any doubt, any issues? So now, should we proceed? So what are the merits of using? What are the merits of using virtual machine? We have a lot of merits of using virtual machine. We have a lot. It's all, it really, you have a virtual machine running, or you have the resources in Azure or in the cloud. It's very easy for you to operate on a go without having your physical laptop with you. Without having your physical laptop with you, so you can go anywhere with your mobile phone. Sit down there. You can host your website without seeing your physical machine. Do whatever you want to do. When you get to a particular place, just log into your environment. You can be without any laptop. You can be without anything. You can get to somebody's laptop, log into the portal, check whatever you want to check on the environment on a virtual machine. You can use it to. You can do a lot of things with it. A lot. That's the merit of it. So the virtual machine for Microsoft is safe for data center and workstation. Yeah, yeah. What I'm talking about, the data center, we have data center. Then we have enterprise edition. It's just as if you have your all this window 10 Pro, Windows 10, what is called professional, or whatsoever you have. So it shows that some features are actually being needed in all this. So it's really you have taken your virtual machine, data center, workstation. They are the same thing. But if you are doing data center, remember if you are doing data center, you're actually working on server. Okay, you're not working on client. Okay, workstation is like a client. Okay.
Hello there, Afolayan. Are you there? I can see that you are muted. Uh, is there any issue?
No, oh, sorry. So is it fine now?
Yes.
So now, so by default, you can see by default is this. You cannot go down, you can only scale up. So you can see when I drop down, you can see. So in between this, from 30 to 2 terabytes, you can select 31, you can be on 32, you can be on 33, you can be on 34, you can be on 35. So it depends on the size you want. But you cannot go to 29, never. So we have this, I'm not using this. So networking part. So let's go straight to the high because you already picked the existing VNet that we have. The one we created earlier. So we moved on, all ports, bar, all port enabled. Then we could just go ahead and evacuate. So we don't really have much in that. The SSH. You can see the price of that actually come down than when you're using Windows because of the size. So we'll move straight to this. But how do we connect to this? How do we SSH to Linux environment? Either we use PuTTY. So let's wait for this process to be completed.
Afolayan, you are again muted, and I can see that the screen
Yeah.
that you're sharing is not moving actually. If you're moving, if you're not moving, then it's fine, but it seems that it's stuck there. If you can, stop the recording, like sharing, and then reshare again, that should be fine.
Is it sharing now?
Uh, yeah, reshare reshare it so that we can see it. Now it's completely paused and we can see your server manager, but but it's actually not moving or any.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let me see.
Uh, no,
Is
I
it
think
working?
we are still it's still on server manager. I can see that the mouse is not even moving. Maybe you want to stop the sharing and then share again.
Okay, is it okay now?
So
Hello?
currently you are in the same window. Are you currently in the server manager window itself?
Okay, let me stop sharing then. Share the video.
Okay. Okay.
Let me share again. See my screen now?
No, it's still there.
See this now. See this. I'm trying to share again. Is it working now? Is it working now?
Seems to be in the same page, like welcome server, welcome to server manager page.
Okay, I might
Uh,
need to. Can I disconnect from the class and join again?
sure, sure, that works. Okay, is my coming? Let's at least stop presenting and let's wait for Afolayan to come back and join us.
Yeah, I'm back.
Um, okay. You can try share. Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. So this is where we are. So now the Linux environment has been created, like I mentioned. So now we go to the resources. So the way we can connect to this is what we use PuTTY. We use PuTTY to connect to what? To our virtual to Linux environment. Okay. Yeah, we have other applications that actually use that as well. So that we can use to what? To connect to SSH to this environment. So now just a moment. So now let's see if I have PuTTY here. PuTTY. I'm not sure that I have PuTTY, so I cannot SSH to this virtual machine now. Except I'm going to download PuTTY now. Let me see if I can quickly download that. Let's download that. So one of the applications I'm using right now, the Windows I'm using might not actually allow me to install anything. So that's how it works. So any questions, any doubts, any question, any doubts on my end of this class in the next 30 minutes. So let me give the class, let me open the floor for everybody. You might ask a question that's actually been bothering you, might related to the class, it might actually be out of the class as well. So let's look at it together. I'm listening, guys. I'm listening, guys. Yeah, if you're talking about career that you can get through this, if you're talking about this, it's more like part of IT, uh, IT career. Let me just use that. So if you start with this, you might actually become what we call IT, my IT, what is called IT administrator. You have IT advocate. You have a lot of career you can actually choose. Depends on the one you are going for. If you choose IaaS, you are going for an IT administrator. Maybe you go to maybe virtual machine only, maybe working on storage and so on. You should pass. That is platform as a service. If you use your SaaS, those are the guys using DevOps, application developers, so on. So you have a lot of career you can actually choose with this, but everything's still embedded on this. But you can't do it without having a virtual machine because you're going to carry out some tests before you implement it in your environment. Another question? We have 10 minutes more. Any doubts? Yeah, you can improve on Azure VM. One by engaging yourself in what research on this Azure. We don't only have Azure in Microsoft as well. We have it on Google, we have it on AWS as well. So those are the cloud provider that actually offer this particular resources. So depends on the one you choose. You just have to learn more about it, and it's fine. Just continue reading more about virtual machine, Azure. We have a lot of topics on that. I personally cannot cover it all because every day Microsoft keep improving, keep changing their features. New features keep coming in every day. The way you see Portal today you might not see the Portal tomorrow. So you might be familiar. You might be what? Try to familiar with the Portal, familiar yourself with the latest technology as well. So you move on from there. I can export VM created and use it in different region, similar setting. Yeah, you can actually do that. You can do that. What you need to do, the virtual machine, once you created it, like I said earlier, if you look at this now, let me just go straight to it. Let me show you something. If you go to this virtual machine now, let me show you something. Some of us will actually have phobia for this. Because some customers who work on actually have phobia for this. You have this virtual machine that is running, right? How can you get rid of this virtual machine? You want to import the disk. You have a lot of ways you can import it. You have a lot of tools you can use. You have Storage Explorer that you can use to import your disk. You have easy copy. Easy copy that can import your disk from one region to the other. You have RoboCopy that can move it as well. So Microsoft have a lot of tools. So if you go by that, so let me just show you this. Let me show you this. Let's see. That's how I work anyway. That's why I keep most of my file. Azure, SDK. So if you choose this, you'll see a lot of tools actually Microsoft actually have. So these are the tools. Those of us that actually has that question, those are the tools as well. So you can see them. So it depends on the one you want to use. So what you need to do, you cannot move a virtual machine that is running. You cannot move a virtual machine that is attached. Okay? What you need to do is to delete the virtual machine. Once you delete the virtual machine, it's going to remain the disk. So you go to tell him don't delete the disk. But you can delete other resources. Okay? You already created a virtual machine, install your application, everything is there. You want to move to another region. Let's assume you want to leave South Africa now. You are going to East US. What you need to do is to create a storage account there. Create a storage account there. Then you copy that disk to that new source. Create a storage account in another resource group. Then you move that resources from that South Africa straight to that storage account you created in East US. Then you deploy. But the virtual machine you have to delete. You cannot move a virtual machine, you can only move a disk. Okay? Then however, if you're changing resource group as well, so sometimes you can even change it from Portal here. Yeah, I think there's a way we can change. You can move from Portal then. So we move from Portal, change resource group, or most of these things have changed anyway. So there's a way we have it on Portal then that you can actually move. You can move your resources. You see it move then. Let me see disk. So once you click on that, you're going to see move. Let me see. It has that features. It doesn't have the feature today with that. Actually remove it. So there's a way you just click on that move. It's always on the upper part tab before. Just see move. It will tell you where you're moving to. So I'm moving to social region. Then you move your resources there. You can use Storage Explorer. You can use RoboCopy. You can use Easy Copy. So any other question? We have 5 minutes more. You can call it a day. Any doubts?
I think there is no more other questions. We did take a couple of time, and if there is any more questions, we do have our community where you can come back and ask questions, and there is a lot of people who can help you with your questions. Uh, and I just want to thank you, Afolayan, for doing the session with us, and it was really resourceful, and we learned a lot today. And also the demo was really helpful to understand the process and how you can actually do it. So and also thank you all for joining with us today. And for you guys, there is certificate of participation. I hope you guys have already filled it out and gotten it in your email. If you haven't, please to fill it out again. Maybe you have filled wrong email. Um, okay, there is no more other questions, and hence we will be winding up today's session. And thank you everyone for joining, and thank you Afolayan again for joining with us. And it was a pleasure having you with us. Looking forward to have you in the next time in the community whenever you have time. Okay,
No issues.
and have a great rest of the Wednesday. Thank you, everyone.